Hey y'all, this is Bridget London and the Highwaywoman radio show, coming to you from Austin, Texas.
Yes, here she comes, the Highwaywoman. She comes with music for your soul, and then moves along. She moves along.
This is Bridget London, and I'm so excited to be talking with my very good friend, Outlaw Magazine's Artist of the Month for July, the one and only Mr. Billy Don Burns. Hey, Billy Don.
Hey, Bridget. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing great. And man, you've got a great month ahead of you. This July here, you've got a brand new album coming out called Nights When I'm Sober, Portrait of a Honky Tonk Singer.
Yeah, that's coming out this month, and y'all had me on as guest artist on Outlaw Magazine. I appreciate that. That's really quite an honor.
We had Willie Nelson and Billy Joe Shaver and Loretta Lynn, so you're in good company, Billy Don.
Yeah, really. Very good company.
And well-deserved. You've been in the music business a very long time. Let's talk a little bit about that first, and then, of course, we want to feature some great tracks from your new record and talk about the new record. But first of all, why don't we kind of tell people a little bit about how you got started in the business? You got started actually with a writing deal first. Isn't that right, Billy Don?
Well, yeah, played a little, but 1971, Merle Haggard's company, some of my songs, but my first actual staff writing deal was in 72. Harlan Howard signed me as a staff writer.
That's a really great story, actually, but let's talk a little bit about how Merle came to hear your songs. Would you tell everybody that story?
Sure. I was living in California. I just got out of the Army, and I put a little band together, and we played those desert cities, and I read where Merle had started a publishing company called Shade Tree, but he couldn't write for it because he was under contract to write for Blue Book, Buck Owens' company. So I thought, well, I'll go to Bakersfield and maybe they'll publish some of my songs. And I told the band I was going, and they all laughed and said, you ain't going to see Merle Haggard, because Merle was really, it just started happening. I mean, he was the Garth Brooks of the era, you know. And I got up there, and I looked in the phone book and found Shade Tree Music over on Niles Avenue, and I went over there, and the lady that was running the company said that I needed to meet with Roy Nichols, who listened to the music. Well, Roy was like a star to me because he was such a big, he played lead guitar for Merle and was a big part of that sound. So Roy listened to the two songs I brought, and he liked them and said that they would publish them. And then he asked me if I wanted to meet Merle, and I said, sure. And so he called Merle, and he told me Merle and Bill Woods was in Merle's office, so we went back there, and man, they were so nice to me, you know, and Merle told Bill Woods, he said, hell, Bill, you ought to get him on Jimmy's TV show this afternoon here in Bakersfield. And so Bill made a call, and next thing I know, I'm on TV in Bakersfield singing, it's called the Jimmy Thomason Show, and Merle and him back at the office listening to me, so it was a pretty exciting time for a small town country boy, you know.
I love that story. And you know, obviously your country is your genre, but folks in all genres seem to really relate to your music, rock and rollers and such, because you write from such a strong truth and tell things as they really are and have been. And throughout your life, you had many, many adventures in the music business and recorded many records. And you also had several people cut your songs as well. Who was the first artist, Billy Don, that cut one of your songs?
The first would have been Connie Smith back in about 1973. She recorded a song of mine called Be All Right in Arkansas on Columbia Records, and that was a big thing. I think her first cut is the most exciting. It never seems to be that exciting again, but that was a big deal, you know.
Absolutely, Connie Smith. We all love her, and you even Willie Nelson has cut one of your, or actually a couple of your songs, hasn't he, Billy Don?
Right. That's I called him the Goodwill. Willie, he cut don't have a reason to go to California back in the early 90s, 91, 92. And then I played him a song called Taxi, and he said he would record it. And I told him, I said, well, I got a band in the studio real 5 minutes from here. We're just getting ready to record it. And I said, do you want to cut it with us? And he looked at his watch, and he said, man, I got 30 minutes. I got to be in Buffalo tonight. And he came down to the studio and did one take and did great. I mean, he's the greatest pro I guess I've ever worked with, would be Willie. And of course, Hank Cochran sang on it too. But Willie is so great, man.
Well, Billy Don, I think the reason why everyone loves your music so much, at least one of the reasons that I do, is because of, like we mentioned earlier, how you write and how you're able to, you just cut right to the truth immediately and right from your soul. You're one of the greatest writers, honestly, that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing or working with in music. And I know a lot of people feel that way, and you've always remained true to yourself. You've definitely remained kind of on the outside and in a good way, because you never conform to anything, and you always have done things your way. And I think it's really wonderful that now things seem to be kind of coming back around with this new record, and folks are really, really impressed with what's happening now. You recently got a record deal with Rusty Knuckles, and they're putting out this new album of yours. Tell us how that came about.
Well, this guy on the label, Ronnie Helms, he took the new record to Ralph, the CEO of that company, and he immediately wanted it, and never asked how old I was or nothing. I went over to Raleigh, North Carolina to meet him, and I'm twice his age, and he said, man, I just think there's some hits here, and I'd love to have it for the company. And he's a nice guy. He's into it for the art of it, and not trying to sell sex, just good music, And I appreciate, Bridget, all the nice things you said about me too a while ago. That's nice. I've got to come back with that you're a great writer and a great entertainer, and I've worked with you quite a bit, and I know that. And anybody that's heard you and seen you knows that. And I'm a big fan of yours, girl.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Of course, that means a lot to me, Billy Don. And we've had some fun working together, and I want to play a cut that we did actually. Your song that's awesome about Waylon, and then I want to feature some cuts from the new record. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, so how about we play this song, When Waylon Came to Nashville? Now, tell me a little bit about when you wrote this song, Billy Don.
Well, I was with Mac Vickery and Earl Clark, and they'd been after me wanting to write one about Waylon, and so we was on our way back from Johnny Paycheck's funeral, as a matter of fact, and we wrote that, and then when I was with you and Waylon's band, was the perfect time to cut it, so that's kind of how it came about, and you did great. Your harmony sounds so good on there, Bridget.
Well, I sure enjoyed being on it and felt very honored, Billy Don. And let's play that now. This is about the one and only Waylon Jennings, and from my special guest right now, Billy Don Burns, with When Waylon Came to Nashville.
Every time he'd flap his wings, we'd stand back and we'd watch the eagle fly. He always landed on his feet. He knew the Richie had the backbeat, and on Waymore he'd be singing on his song. He flew higher than the eagle, they were riding on. He took a band of outlaws across the land, sang the world a song. Running up and down the highway, he was breaking all the rules. When Waylon came to
And that was When Waylon Came to Nashville, from Mr. Billy Don Burns, who I'm talking with right now. Billy Don has got a brand new CD coming out called Portrait of a Honky Tonk Singer, Nights When I'm Sober. And that record is out in stores and online. As I want to tell all y'all about it, make sure you get a copy, either download it, purchase a physical copy, whatever way you buy music now, you must have Billy Don Burns' new album in your collection, and all of his other ones too, right, Billy Don?
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you.
This. Let's talk about some songs from this. And now, one of the first songs, of course, I'd like to play is the Honky Tonk Singer.
Sure. Now Aaron, he started it out like it was an old-timey radio thing, just me and the guitar, and then coming on as a band. So it's kind of it's a little different, but I like it. I think everybody will like it once they figure out what we're doing there.
Here's Billy Don Burns with Honky Tonk Singer.
Faster he goes, coughs all night long like Hank Williams, spits blood and chain smokes cigarettes, and the young thing beside him, hell, he met her last night. He's a honky-tonk singer on the highway of life.
All right, and we're back here with my special guest, Mr. Billy Don Burns. His brand new album, Nights When I'm Sober, Portrait of a Honky Tonk Singer, is out in stores, and you can download it anywhere off the internet and go to rustyknucklesrecords.com as well. Now, Billy Don, are you touring a lot right now?
Working a lot, Bridget. Tonight I start 10 one-nighters. They're all in Arkansas, my home state. So that's kind of neat, seeing a lot of people I know. And then we're playing Sturgis, the big motorcycle rally in August, and we've got lots of dates coming up, doing a bunch of them. Hopefully you and me going to have some down in Texas, maybe one or two together, I hope.
That would be great. I cannot wait for that.
Well, yeah, me too, Dave.
Yeah.
Bring your pretty sister. Bring your pretty sister on with you.
I will.
All right.
How about we play Heart Breakdown? Man, what a song. Good Lord.
I tell you what's wild about that one. You know, Richie and Waylon's band wanted to come in and play on one of them, and that's Richie and those guys playing on Heart Breakdown.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, the bass player is, but he played with Waylon a couple of years. They call him Swine. He's playing with he's producing Jamie Johnson now.
Oh, cool. And that's Richie on drums?
Yeah, that's Richie on drums, and Robbie Turner on steel, and everybody played with Waylon that was on it.
Very cool.
So,
well, it's one hell of a song, man. All right, here is Billy Don Burns with Heart Breakdown.
From a wound that you can't see, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll have a heart breakdown. Haven't stopped for days to rest for now. And sometimes the pain gets so intense, the things I do don't make no sense. I hold my side and I ride 1,000 miles down a long lost highway that seems to have no end.
I love that. Of course, I love all your music, you know. So what do you think your plans are going to be? Are you going to be touring? I know you're touring around that area and you've been up to the Midwest. Are you going to be heading back to the West Coast this year?
October, we're playing California and I think Arizona and maybe Oregon. October, maybe part of September. I can't remember for sure, but yeah, we're going to be out there.
That's great. You know, when you listen to this new record, you can hear, you know, such a strong, I guess, reverence for real country music comes through, and a lot of different influences, I think. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about who some of your biggest influences have been with your own music, Billy Don?
Well, probably the two biggest would have been Hank Williams Sr. and Johnny Cash, but I had many over the years till I, found out who I was, and there was a lot of great ones. Of course, Haggard, was a big one, and the old guys, most of the new guys I've not really even heard because I quit listening to mainstream radio a long time ago, not slamming them or nothing. I felt like it affected my writing, and I wrote a lot truer without being influenced after I'd had all my influences, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And when do you think it was that you found your true sound? I think if folks get a copy of your album, that Heroes, Friends, and Other Troubled Souls, that is a really incredible album. It's got a lot of guest artists on it, but I think it's, it's very defining of your own sound, for sure.
Back when Willie cut my song California, he had of course, Willie had influenced me big over the years too, but he told me I was a great writer one time when I was on his bus, and I said, "Thank you, Will," and he kind of shook me and said, "You're a great writer, man," and I got all teared up and got down one knee and did the Catholic sign, and I don't know. I think I found myself somewhere about that time when I could stand shoulder to shoulder with him and him tell me I was a great writer. That's when I just started singing my songs from then on, you know.
Well, and then things kind of started turning a corner where artists are now, naming you as an influence, and that's got to really mean something to you, you know.
It humbles me, Bridget.
What do you think is next for you, Billy Don? You're going to be touring hard with this record. Do you have any other projects on the horizon you want to share with folks?
I'm getting a few songs cut, mostly by people you've not heard of, but Bobby Bear produced one of my songs the other day on a guy from Norway, and I heard the record, and it's really good. They did my song 77203, Lonesome Train, you know.
Yeah.
And so something could come out of that. And I'm just happy to be working again, Bridget, and hopefully I can work till I die, and I'll probably croak out here on the road somewhere. And if I do, have a big toast and say, man, it was great. It was great, you know.
You're not going anywhere for a long time, Billy Don. I'll make sure of that.
Or like Willie said, roll me up and smoke me, you know.
Let's play another cut. How about It Would Kill Mama?
Well, that came about. Me and Hank Cochran had just broke up our company, and Jerry Lassender had just broke up with Hank's wife, and so we're out at Jerry's house, me and Jerry and Mac, and Earl Clark came out, and Earl was driving bus for Tanya at the time, and so me and Mac wrote it while Jerry was upstairs fighting with Susie on the phone. And then as Earl was leaving, he had to go pick up Tanya. They were leaving for Vegas, I think. And Earl, as he walked over me, he said, hey, man, I got one for us to ride. Hank Williams' Woman was a lot like you. And, man, it hit me hard when he said it. And I got up and got in my car and drove to Dixon, checked in a cheap motel, Dixon, Tennessee, and wrote Hank Williams' Woman was a lot like you. So those two songs were written the same day. It Would Kill Mama and Hank Williams' Woman.
Man, all right, let's play It Would Kill Mama. This is Billy Don Burns, folks, telling it like it is.
I fight like a baby going down that won't go to sleep. It would kill Mama if she could see me killing me. They call me the wild one, like Marlon Brando in some old picture show. Like a lone desert stallion, I'm ablaze in my trail as I go. I'm cranked up like a freight train, I'm a smoking and a blowing off steam. It would kill Mama, she could see me killing me.
And we're back here. This is Bridget London. You're listening to the Highwaywoman radio show. I'm back here with my wonderful special guest and my very dear friend, Mr. Billy Don Burns, celebrating him Artist of the Month at Outlaw Magazine, celebrating his brand new CD, Nights When I'm Sober, Portrait of a Honky Tonk Singer. Really, really phenomenal album, and really excited that Billy Don Burns is now with Rusty Knuckles Records. They're putting this CD out here, available to the public as of July 10th, and you can get yourself a copy there and find out more about Billy Don Burns online, and you can even see him on Facebook. He's facebook.com/Billy Don Burns, and if you type his name in, you'll find out all kinds of interesting stuff about Billy Don's history and all of his great records and people who've cut his songs and all the songs he's written and things he's done throughout his musical career. Well,
Bridget, I want to be sure and us do some more shows together again because we always have a good time, you and I do.
We sure do. We sure do. I love playing music with you, Billy Don, and we have yet to sit down and take pen to paper together. That would be fun. I would enjoy that.
I'd love to do that too. Yes. When we get some more gigs, bring Lori. And then you try to write one.
Yep, I'll use my sister as the enticement. Well, thank you again, Billy Don. Wishing you all the best with this new record. I love you.
Love you, Bridget. Thank you, darling. Thank you a lot.
Well, how about let's go on out of here with Stranger. You want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, I was with a girl and she was playing my song Rock On, which I say the stranger in the mirror is getting gray. And when I heard that, I hadn't heard it in a couple of 3 years, I thought the stranger in the mirror is getting stranger. So I wrote strangers getting stranger, and that's how that came to be.
Thank you so much, Billy Don. This is Billy Don Burns, folks, with Stranger from his brand new CD, Nights When I'm Sober, Portrait of a Honky Tonk Singer from Rusty Knuckles Records.
Your eyes are big city cold. It ain't me, there ain't no way. And the stranger getting stranger every day.